Right. So now let's discuss a bit more about the state file and the destroy and how we can destroy only a set of resources we have in the template. Then how we can format. So these all options let's discuss here in this video. So firstly, whatever the resource we are creating, okay, that resource information is going to actually store in the state file. So as I mentioned again, so I strongly recommend you to use an IDE, uh, kind of Visual Studio or Kiro. So here you observe this is what the code we have written in our last previous video, and here is a TF state file. So what actually the state file is? Let me open the document. So basically the state file is a document, okay, or a file with a file format .tf state. So this actually going to work as a source of truth of our resources. We can use it for tracking purpose, what actually the current state of resource is, okay, and basically it stores the mappings between Terraform configurations and the real infrastructure resources. So in simple, it is used to detect, used by Terraform to determine what need to be created, updated or destroyed. Okay, so it whenever we deploy, see this is a plain one, so it just like a basic TF state information, but it is not actually showing any resource that we are going to create. Okay, and important thing is, so it's not recommended to edit this TF state file manually. So to understand it better, what actually I'm going to do, I'm going to deploy this. Okay, so I'll do one additional thing. I'm going to add a name. So I'm going to add tags. Okay, so then I'm going to call this as, yeah, my first instance. So the tag name also my first instance only. So this actually add a name for the instance we are going to launch. Right. So now let me open the terminal. Okay, let me increase the size a bit. Right. So here is a Terraform code, and now we are in the same location. So Terraform, so as we discussed, plan is going to plan the deployment. So it is going to mention, okay, you are going to add one resource. So what actually that resource properties, we are going to add a name. It is going to use this particular AMI, and it is going to use T3 micro as a instant type. Remaining all it is going to pick. Do we really need to run this plan command every time? Not really required. So directly you can give Terraform apply, but it's highly recommended to review by using plan, then you can go and apply. And also one more point to mention, see when I'm giving Terraform apply, when I click on enter, so it is now picking all the resources, and you see here it's waiting for my confirmation. Do you want to perform these actions? So I have to type yes. If I don't want to, okay, I have interrupted. I pressed Ctrl C. So instead of I know what actually I'm deploying. So what I can do, I can give Terraform apply hyphen auto approved. So this is non-interactive way. It is going to pick yes as an option, and it is going to create the resources. So I have given Terraform apply hyphen auto approve. It is not waiting for my confirmation. It is actually going to create the resource. And now the important thing we have to understand here is what actually resource we are going to get here in the cloud or in our AWS environment. That resource information is going to store here in the terraform.tf state file. Some time back it is just a plain shell, but now you see here there is a resource, the type is AWS instance and the name, so my first instance. So basically this is what the name, my first instance. So let me, so this is a block name, we have created AWS instance, right? What is the name we have given to the block? So then if you scroll down, so basically this is all EC2 instance information. This is all like what is a AMI, what is the instance ARN, which availability zone it is running, and how many CPUs it is using, right? And what is a instance ID, what is the current state, right? So it is going to pick all this information and it is going to display it here. So it is not at all recommended to modify the state file directly. It also not recommended to expose this. So currently, as we are in very starting stage, we are storing this state file here directly in local, but in real cloud environments, we are going to store all these components in like, S3 bucket or DynamoDB kind of resources. We are going to store it remotely. Okay. So for like, an entire team can collaborate, accidental modification we can prevent. All right. So now you want to verify like the state file or information. So there is a command terraform state list. So if you gave this terraform state list, it is going to show us how many resources we have actually created, right? So now immediately uh, you might get a doubt. Okay, Avinash, we have created, fine, the tf state file got updated. What happen if I destroy it? Will that destroy or will the information go away from the tf state file? Let's give a try terraform destroy. Now for this also you can add auto approve. It's highly not recommended until like in real environments, but here this is like a video where I'm trying to teach you the things, right? I'm not actually creating like enterprise level resources, not working on actual AWS environment. So yeah, I'm actually adding auto approve. Now you can observe it is going to destroy the resource, and this is what the tf state file current data. And once the resource got deleted, so then we can observe this tf state file. So it is still destroying. Is this instance terminating? Yes, it is shutting down. So this tf destroy command, right? This tf terraform destroy command is going to delete all the resources tracked in the terraform state file. Okay, and it uses the state file to identify which resources to remove. So we are in current location, we have simply given terraform destroy. It will go and look for the terraform state file, and what are the resources is actually we have here. It is going to destroy all the resources. So this is like we can use this to clean up the resources and test temporary environments. And by default it's an interactive one where you have to type yes, but as we discussed, you don't want to do anything, just you want to auto approve this, then you can always add this auto approve to skip the confirmation. So now you might get a doubt, hey Avinash, right? So currently we have one resource and we are able to destroy it. Okay. So do we have any option to prevent this destroy? So actually there is a concept in Terraform, okay, so called prevent destroy. So we have something called Terraform life cycles. Okay. So Terraform life cycles has actually three options. So within the three options, we have an option called prevent destroy. So I'll talk about remaining two options or about this prevent destroy later again in next video. But for now, as we are actually discussing about the destroy command, right? we do have an option to protect resources from destroy. For that, what actually we need to do? So we have to add something called lifecycle. Okay, so there is a lifecycle phase, prevent destroy. So it's actually a boolean, so you have to give either true or false. So now what actually I'm doing within the Terraform script itself, I'm adding a lifecycle phase. I'm giving prevent destroy is true. Let's see now. I'm going to deploy this first. I'm going to Terraform apply auto approve. So now it is going to create an instance here. Okay, it's in pending state. Now once this resource creation is completed, I will try to destroy it. Okay, so it's kind of like, in our EC2 instances we have termination protection kind of feature. So if you enable this like a instance settings, stop protection, termination protection, right? If this feature is enabled, if anyone try to terminate this instance manually via console, it is not going to terminate. In similar way, whatever the Terraform application we have here, the TF state is now updated with the new instance information. But I have added additional thing that prevent destroy is equal to true. So where it is going to prevent from destroy. So now I'm using Terraform destroy. Then click on enter. So now you see here instance cannot be destroyed. Why? So there is here in this block, resource block, there is a life cycle that is preventing destroy. So it is not going to delete. Okay. So this prevent destroy is one of the option. So when Terraform, when this is enabled, Terraform will block any destroy operation. So this is a part where the prevent destroy is taking effect. And also sometimes we may get into a situation where we need to we actually deal with the multiple resources. Okay, I'm going to remove this now, and let's assume I have multiple resources here. I'm going to do copy paste here. Right, this is my first instance. I'm going to call this as my second instance, and I'm going to update the name also, my second instance. Right, so I'm going to create two EC2 instances. This block name is my first instance. Okay, so this is a resource, and you can hover your cursor whenever you install this Terraform extension, right? You get some suggestions like okay, you hover your cursor here, then it tells, okay, this is a resource type. Okay, you hover your cursor to the next one, this is a reference name. Okay, so the name is my first instance. So then these are the kind of properties, like, instant type, it's whether it is mandatory or optional, right? So yeah, now I'm going to deploy this now. So Terraform apply auto approve. So now I have initialized the deployment to deploy two resources. Okay, now you can observe here, this is my first instance and this is my second instance. Right. So what actually I'm going to cover now is a target option. So what this target will do? So this target option will help us to delete one particular resource from the entire configuration. Now, if I go here, if I simply give Terraform destroy, if I simply give Terraform destroy, what it is going to do? Is it going to delete only one instance or two instances? You can see here, you can read the output it is giving. Okay, so AWS instance dot my second instance will be destroyed, and if you scroll up, AWS instance, my first instance will be destroyed. So technically both the EC2 instances, technically both the resources are going to delete. But we want to delete only one particular resource. So for that, what actually we can do? We can list the resources from the Terraform state. Terraform state list. Whenever you run this Terraform state list, it is going to inform, okay, there is one resource AWS instance and the resource block name is my first instance. There is another instance, the resource block name is my second instance. Now, which resource you want to delete? You can pass that resource information as a target. So the syntax is Terraform destroy. Then you can give -target is equal to I want to delete AWS instance dot what is the block name, what is the reference name. You can give. You want to delete multiple. So you can repeat this -target. Then you want to delete S3 storage or S3 other resource. You can just mention that here. So now let's see. I have two EC2 instances. My interest is deleting this my first instance. I just want to delete this my first instance only. Okay, so that resource created by using this particular one. So you can copy this target. So the command is Terraform destroy, but you gave -target equals to, then you can paste it, whatever the state list you received. So what resource it got created, you pick. So how to identify the state list? So if you go to this state file, okay, so you can observe here the resource name is, resource type is AWS instance, that actually displays here, and the resource name displays immediately after the type. So this instance, this particular block resource I want to destroy. Then click on enter. Now it should not delete both the resources, it should delete only the first instance. Alright, let's see. Okay, it is waiting for my confirmation as I have not added auto approve. So now just observe this, only the first instance is now deleting. And are we going to use this very commonly? No. We have to be use this with cautiously. It actually sometimes it may cause dependency inconsistencies if you are actually using this repeatedly. Okay, but it is a handy option if you want to isolate a single resource, if you want to delete one particular resource from the entire stack. So then you can actually prefer this Terraform target option. Now I also want to cover a couple of very basic operations, basic things. So one is Terraform format. Okay, this is very handy one. Okay, so now whatever the Terraform we have here, you see this. So the format is not so proper, so the indentation, and again, so generally this equal symbol, right? So this is a best way actually, keeping it in same line kind of thing. So but manually doing it very tedious task. So what we can do, we have a command called Terraform format. So you can use this Terraform format command. So Terraform format automatically formats Terraform configuration files. It helps us to achieve consistent styles, indentations and alignments across all the Terraform files. So it just helps us to keep our code clean, readable and team friendly, right? So how we can do that? So the command is Terraform fmt. So if you give Terraform fmt, just observe this particular part. If you observe this AMI and instant type, right? So this equal symbol is here and this instant type equal symbol is here. But now when I gave Terraform fmt, Now you see here proper indentation, and this is what I asked you to observe. So both are in equal symbol, like it actually looking somewhat decent. So if you have folders, subfolders, right? So you do have an option to apply this Terraform FMT. So for that, uh, Terraform FMT hyphen recursive. So folders, subfolders, and everything is going to be formatted by using this Terraform FMT command. And sometimes, okay, I'm wantedly doing Control Z on the format part. Okay, so now there is an option. Okay, so Terraform format diff. So currently, what is the alignment we have? Okay, I'll store this somewhere here in a document. So this is what the alignment we have now. I'm going to take a new tab. Okay, so I want to see if I apply Terraform format command, how I'm going to get the output. So I'm going to come on, Terraform fmt hyphen diff, then click on enter. So you see here it is going to give clear instructions, like clear thing what actually it is going to do. So the indentation and all, so it clearly gives here. Okay, so this is what, this is what we are going to get. So earlier, so this particular lines, these two lines, okay, so it's here, right? So once I observe this is the previous one, this is what it is going to apply. Okay, so it clearly shows what actually it is going to do. So for that we can actually give diff. Okay, so now there is one more command, whether our Terraform template is valid or not, whether we are using proper syntaxes and the configuration correctness on our Terraform files, we can give Terraform validate enter. So it is going to verify our Terraform file here, and it is going to verify, okay, this configuration is valid. For example, see, wantedly I'm giving a space here between instance and type. So now if I go here and if I give Terraform validate, you see this? There is an invalid block definition. Okay, so you can see here, right? So instant type T3 and this one. So the line number 7, okay, it is not valid. Okay, so Control Z. Okay, so you can actually use this Terraform validate command. Okay, and whenever we are running this Terraform validate command, right, so we are not going to hit any AWS environment or no API calls. It's just purely it is going to use the local install Terraform configuration and all, and it is going to verify it. Okay, so and best practices, run Terraform format before Terraform validate for a clean workflow. So that means you can give Terraform fmt and Terraform validate. Now see, it's formatted and then it is verifying whether the files or the syntaxes, configurations, everything is valid or not. All right, so I'll stop this video now. So I hope you got an idea what actually the target option we have and how we can give a proper format and how we can prevent any of the template from accidental deletions with destroy command. And I assume you got what actually state file and its purpose is. Alright, that's it for this video. See you again in next video. Thank you. Hope you are learning Terraform from our videos. And if you feel these videos are valuable, don't forget to share with the DevOps learners and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.